your driveway and say, you can't be using that unless you pay us your registration fee.
Well,
It's one thing on public roads. We've got.
And you can't. A lot of times you can't use it. Only in very serious emergencies can you use, like what they did in Houston, Texas. All the mud bogging trucks and everything else going down the streets hauling people out. That's the only huge snowstorm here in Massachusetts, like a blizzard of '78. Everybody got around on ATVs and snowmobiles for like 2 weeks before we were able to dig out. That's the only time you can use them on the road. But now, with what you're saying, we could have an event, a weather event. We're going to depend on these people. And they're going to be like, I ain't taking my snowmobile out. It's like, I don't have a sticker.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, it's another way, it's another tax, it's another fee, but it's an intrusion into our constitutional rights. So again, that's a small example. It's a small group there. But again, if they're coming for that group, what's next? What other tax or fee are they going to be throwing on us?
Well, first,
we've got to say enough's enough.
Yeah, well, liberals, the left, and government writ large, there's never a stopping point where the government says, all right, we've got what we wanted, we took care of this problem, this is it, we can stop. Or if the problem, after a number of years, has been solved and it goes away, they don't say, well, the problem's gone, things are working out better now, maybe we can do away with this agency and the law. No, folks, what do you always hear a politician, especially Democrats, say in their speech? We've done so much, but there's so much more we need to do. This is the key word that you've got to always be careful when you hear a politician.
I love the fact, regardless of what you think about the president, he wants for every regulation somebody puts forward, he wants 2 taken away. And I think that's exactly what we need. Again, when we revert back to healthcare, there are antiquated laws. The problem is they pass the one law, but they never take away the old one.
Sure.
So they're all sitting out there. So I heard
and they become contradictory after a while.
I heard the other day that somebody said that every day you break 3 felonies because they're on the books somewhere.
Well, oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a book out there. It was I forget who the author is, but yeah, it's 3 felonies a day.
3 felonies a day.
People don't even realize it. Just getting up in the morning. It's horrible. It's completely horrible. So you get elected. You get into Beacon Hill. What are some of the things you want to concentrate on first? Or what's your game plan?
Well, again, here we go back to healthcare. Certainly healthcare, that's a major crisis.
Well, it is.
We've got to work on
numbers 40%. I mean, it's huge. It's just going to get bigger.
The Affordable Care Act was based on Romney Care, as you said. And we are the test bed for the rest. Massachusetts is the test bed for the rest of the country. We've got to get the power back to us, and we've got to be able to fix that. So certainly that's the big issue. But I think the other issue, again, there's only a few Republicans in Massachusetts. It's a one-party state. Yeah, we have Governor Baker. Governor Baker.
He's not a Republican.
Yeah. Well, again, in Governor Baker's defense, look what he has to deal with. He has almost completely Democrat.
I completely agree with you on that. I know that a lot of people give him a lot of guff about the decisions he makes. I do think sometimes he needs a little bit more backbone, but Steve's right. I mean, he's up against a phalanx, and you can't get around it. You've got to either negotiate with it or learn to work with it. But then again, what do they always say about bipartisanship, folks? Bipartisanship is the Democrats saying to the Republicans, you either do what we say or we're not going to pass the bill. And bipartisanship to a Republican is, we better do what they say or they're not going to pass the bill. That's bipartisanship right there. That's how you deal with Democrats.
What we need, regardless of what you think or your party affiliation, we need more balance here. We need more Republicans in the state Senate, in the state, or in Congress with the reps. We need more of those people in there because we need that balance. We need both sides having an honest debate about the issues. When I get in there, again, I would be, there's only 5 senators now Republican and the rest 40 Democrats. That's way out of balance, We've got to get it. So what really realistically can one more person do? I certainly am not afraid. I don't need, nor do I want to make this a life career. I'm 56 years old. Sure. I won't be around that long anyways.
Right.
But I want to go in there and make a difference. And if I don't mind being the one that says, hey, this isn't right, pointing it
sure.
out, letting the people know. Another problem I found it very difficult. It's very difficult to find out how your senator is voting, how your rep is voting in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been asking about that. You actually have to know the bill, you have to know the number in many occasions, and then you have to call the State House and wait for the phones to ring,
Sure.
and get an answer, and they have to look it up for you. So I asked about that, and the Republicans are telling me that the Democrats are doing this intentionally, so you don't know how they're voting.
Of course. Oh, God, yeah.
That needs to change. We
There was
need
just
more
a thing-
transparency.
Yeah, there was just a thing they during committee hearings and stuff like that they the press isn't allowed anymore in the committee hearing rooms. That they're all done behind closed doors now, and nobody's saying anything about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. It's really, really bad. Speaking about parties. Grassroots organization like yours, what are you hearing from GOP? Have you reached out to Mass GOP or anybody to see what you can do for matching funds or any type of information? What are you hearing?
Certainly, Mass GOP has been helpful. I have a number of folks that have come forward. It's early. It's early. I completely understand how they have to stay neutral until we get at least beyond the filing deadline for the primaries,
Mhm.
so they can't choose sides before that. Understandably, makes perfect sense.
Sure. They want to see whose
Yeah.
numbers. Anybody else on the Republican ticket going up against him? You're the only one.
I'm the only one at this point.
And
now.
isn't
Yeah.
that's the sick thing about Massachusetts, folks. I don't know what it's like in other states. I'm sure it exists, but we have this horrible thing that goes on where a lot of our reps, a lot of our state senators, and even Jim McGovern, our congressman, unopposed. Like almost every election season, they run unopposed.
And that's why I'm here. I'm tired of going to the ballot box, and again, there's nobody else to vote for,
Mhm.
and so that's why I'm here. I mean, you ask why I'm here. It's because I have the means. I'm educated. I know what's going on. I've got a wide range of education and experiences. And why not? Why not? Why not me to go in there and make the difference? And again, somebody who's not afraid to get in there and say, hey, this isn't right, and shake things up. And it's funny because I was speaking to actually somebody, a constituent yesterday, and he said to me, he actually worked in the State House. He works in the State House, a different role. And he says, you know what? When you get in there, it's going to be a whole lot more different. You're not going to be able to change a thing. It's really so ingrained. Almost, he was talking about the swamp, basically, is what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And it's really a shame, but I said no, and he goes, no, you're not going to be able to change it. But I'll tell you what, if we get enough of us in there believing that, and making a difference, and not allowing that to happen, as is going on in the federal government. I mean, President Trump is getting a lot of grief from both sides. I wonder why, because...
his own party.
Yeah,
That's
his
the
own
horrible
party.
thing, sure.
Yeah. We need more balance. We need more people like me stepping forward and running for these races, and people who aren't career politicians who want to make a difference. And that's going to be the key.
Now, you're knocking on doors, you're going around to events. Where have you been? What have you been doing?
Oh,
The logistics of it, yeah.
I've been visiting the Tea Party. Certainly,
Yeah. There was a great write-up from the Orange Republican Town Committee there.
Yeah.
Ray Youngins is a great guy. Ray's,
Ray, I get a lot of information from Ray. Actually, he's a great guy, and he did from his posts. He's somebody who keeps informed, is very fair in his posts, and it does keep me up to breast on both federal and state. Along with other sources as well, but Orange is just out of the district. But again, I'm out there trying to get out every chance I get. I'm out.
Yeah, sometimes that doesn't matter. Even when you're campaigning, I mean, you've got to kind of show that you're not afraid to go outside and see what some of the other problems are in some of those districts, and even some of those outside like Ray's Orange Town Committee, Republican Town Committee. I mean, he can get some pull into the other towns and some of the other committees too. Exactly,
but I've been going to motorcycle events. I think that certainly is an untapped resource. When you talk about grassroots, people that are unhappy about things that are going on, people that typically are conservative. I've been going to motorcycle events. Again, I'm a motorcyclist, a dirt biker, been a racer for years. that's a segment of our population that's under attack right now, which is really unfortunate. The Second Amendment rallies I've been going to and meeting people there and understanding that my opponent, who is rated very well with the NRA and with gold, but when you really dig down deep, I wonder about that and how, is it superficial or does she really believe in that? And besides that, even if we're equal, you look at how about the other stuff. Go back to the illegal immigrants, the bathroom bill, where now we are allowed to. She voted for the bathroom bill, where we now can go in and change in the ladies' locker room, which is a stupid law.
There's another petition. Chanel Prunier's working on that one too. So there's somebody that you should talk to too. To get hold of people from Mass Fiscal Alliance, Chanel Prunier, and get your. That was the gist of my question. Is getting yourself out there, and what have you been? Obviously, you've been speaking to various town committees and Tea Party groups. What events like big? Oh, it's a campaign event. Here we go.
Well, my announcement's November 8th. The official announcement's November 8th at the Public House in Sturbridge.
Cool.
7 o'clock, or actually 6:30 start.
Yeah.
Down there, and
Public House. That's right on Route 20, isn't it?
Public House is on Main Street, 131 in
131.
Sturbridge.
That's it.
Yeah, Sturbridge, Massachusetts. And so we're going to kick it up. I mean, we're still at least a year out at this point. I'm still working a full-time job, so again, these are at night, but I'm hitting something every night when I'm out. I'm meeting with different groups as I can, as allowed, and I am also hitting fairs.
Yeah.
Getting out, meeting the people, let them know that there is an alternative.
When is primary?
Yeah.
When is that?
The primary was September of 2018.
So yeah, towards the end. Wow. See, that's the thing. It's a long way. Presidential primary. All right, I understand you got 50 states. Okay, so they start early. I mean, it would probably even. I mean, that's. Election day is like just a few weeks after that. I mean, how do you determine? That's close. How do you determine who's going to be? What if somebody like you? Obviously you win. There's nobody else. Well, since there's nobody else, who are you going to primary against? Nobody's going to primary. You're the only guy. So.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, there's still plenty of time for somebody to come out.
Sure.
I would hope. Well, I mean, any debate would be fine. I don't mind another opponent. I think the more we get out there, the more people understand another point of view besides the Democratic point of view is a good thing. So I don't have a problem with that. And I'm trying to get out early. I'm not the politician, so I don't have the name recognition. I've been a hardworking man for all my life and sort of behind the scenes making things happen. It's now the public has to get to know me, and that's why I'm here. But I've been doing a lot of different events and getting my name out there, and I think people are beginning to catch on.
You're looking forward to a debate with Gobi?
Yeah.
What do you think her weak points are that you could hit her on?
Well,
obviously Sanctuary City.
Sanctuary City, of course. I think that when it comes to Maura Healey, for example, she has been a supporter of Maura Healey. And if she is really somebody that the NRA is supporting, if Gold, the gun owners, actually is supporting her, or at least gives her, I should say they're not supporting her, gives her a good rating. Gold gives her a good rating. Well, why is she supporting Maura Healey, who's been attacking the gun owners, attacking the Second Amendment? It's contradictory.
I think a lot of it is getting back to what you said about Baker, what he's got to deal with. I mean, you've got to kind of almost smooth the feathers over. You got to go along to play along. You get along to play along, and I think that's what we're seeing. This is the problem also with Donald Trump, is that he's such an outsider that the rest in Congress don't want to upset the apple cart. They're perfectly happy with everything being all screwed up as long as their world is fine, the Washington, D.C. world. And it's probably the same thing for Beacon Hill. The rest of the state can be all screwed up, but as long as they've got their perks, their preferred parking, and their per diems, you see what I'm saying? Their world is fine. Everything is working fine as far from what they can see from that golden dome up there on Tremont Street.
And I got to tell you, the world is a lot different from west of Boston. It is a completely different world. And you go into the district,
Worcester.
the 28 town, the west of Worcester, the 28
Right, I was
town.
looking at your site. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
like your district is, even though part of it is in Worcester County, and it's Hampden and what's the other county?
Hampden, Hampshire, and Middlesex.
Really, part of
I'm sorry.
Middlesex, not Middlesex.
Yeah.
Middlesex is the East County.
There's a town, Ashby is in
No
Middlesex, yeah. So it's Worcester, Hampden, Hampshire, Middlesex is the name of the district.
Right, but if you look on the map of all the towns in Massachusetts, it quite literally is west of Worcester, that section. And that, you're right, that's a whole rural farming area out there, a completely different mindset, completely different way of life. Do you think that there's more of a conservative base out there than there is a Democrat base, or I should say, excuse me, a liberal base?
There is. Matter of fact, statistically, Donald Trump in those 28 towns
Sure.
won in 2016 by 6 points.
That's
and
an absolute fact, folks.
Governor Baker won by 20. These numbers came from GOP. Governor Baker won by 20 points there, and it goes back even further than that. So it is a conservative district. But like you say, it's farmland, and it's empty factories. It's people that are struggling. It's farmers that are struggling. And the Beacon Hill doesn't seem to get it. Many of those people don't even know where those towns are. They may not have ever been there.
No, you're absolutely correct. And it's all well and good to be talking about high-tech industries and other industries coming in. Everything's east of 495. Everything's east of 128. Or within the 495, 128 belt area. And again, if you look at a map, folks, 128, 495, it goes in kind of like a half moon from the southern part of the state up to New Hampshire. And everything within that beltway, kind of like Washington, that beltway east, that's where everything is. You get out towards Worcester. Worcester is kind of like the last haven of civilization, and then you get further west. And you really do get into those rural towns with the factories that are just boarded up and shut down. Companies, if there are any still out there, are quite literally struggling to get by. Small, and I mean small, folks, small manufacturing industries out there that you wouldn't know unless you lived out there and worked out there. And it's really, really tough. We were talking earlier about the fees, and I remember there was talk about the automatic gasoline tax, and of course that got defeated. I was talking with Karen Anderson, who was running out in that area some time ago, and one of the things she and I talked about the gasoline tax was that in that area of Massachusetts, everything is far away. I live in Worcester, I could literally walk to a grocery store. I can walk to a gas station. I can walk, to a barber shop. I can walk. Everything's here in the city. You get outside the city west, a grocery store is 20 miles away. You get further west, a grocery store, the Walmart, that's in the next town over.
Right.
So going to get a gallon of milk burns a few gallons of gasoline
Right.
just to go get it. You start raising these fees and these fines, you seriously impact these people out there.
These people need their car. They need to travel. And go back to the new inspection rules that are now, I believe they come down from the federal government, or some of them come down from the federal government. But these people have, I believe, a constitutional right to travel. Who is the government to tell them they can't travel? And we are putting such a burden on these people. We've got cameras up. People that are literally cameras up in all inspection stations. There's somebody sitting over in Boston or wherever they are watching these cameras to make sure there's no rust holes, and make sure there's no issues with these cars. It's so going to hurt the middle class, the lower middle class. Mm-hmm. These people can't afford it, and they need these vehicles to get their kids to school, go get that milk for their kids, to go get those grocery stores, and to get up every day and go to work. And we are putting more and more of a burden on these people. I don't know how we're going to survive here.
I don't know how they're going to survive. I don't know how they survive now. I really, really don't know. Well, it gets me back to what I said about you have to choose between paying your inspection or putting food on the table. What's going to happen, folks, is you're going to have a lot of these people, I guess the word I want to use, I said the word criminal, I want to say criminalize, because they're going to have to choose. They're going to have to choose between, I got to put gas in the car and go to work. I can't afford my insurance, but I gotta go to work. I can't afford the inspection sticker, but I gotta go to work. And my work is 20 miles away because I live in, I don't know, Wilbraham or whatever, some town, you know, out there in Western Mass. And my work is 20 miles away. And sure enough, as the sun rises tomorrow, I guarantee you there's a cop sitting on the side of the road and you're gonna have to drive by him and boom, there you go. Now look what's happened. Your car's towed, $200. Storage fees, $200. And plus you can't get it back till you have insurance, $200, $300, $400, $500. There's no way out of this.
I spoke to a constituent yesterday. He owns a landscaping company, as a friend owns another landscaping company. Under the new rules, there are much stricter rules for
commercial vehicles.
For commercial vehicles, but there's new classification of commercial vehicles.
Right.
So he was telling me that his friends, again, a competitor but a friend, had according to him now, and it wouldn't surprise me, he said didn't have electric brakes. It wasn't manufactured electric brakes. But the DOT, the Massachusetts DOT, stopped him. Again, I'm taking this second hand or third hand, but he said that they towed the vehicle because according to new regulations, it has to have electric brakes for this many pounds.
Right.
Yet the manufacturer
All in a trailer.
Yeah,
right.
so he told me it was
system.
this huge fine. Again, somebody trying to get up and go to work, and our government, Beacon Hill, is trying to make it. Is extorting money from these people. It's got to end, and that's my goal, is to get in there and to let government step aside and let businesses thrive, and allow people to get up and go to work, and allow. And make work something people can be proud of, something that isn't something that they have to sacrifice to go and lose their benefits. Let's make it a gradual step into working again.
That's great. Absolutely fantastic. Folks, the website is www.electsteve.org. Steve Hall, I want to thank you so much. Where are you going next? What's your next big shindig coming up?
Big shindig. I don't know. They come and they go.
They come when they come, and they go when they go.
I don't remember what the next one is.
Well, 24th. I'll send you some stuff. Come see us at. We're going to be up in Holden Tea Party.
Well, that is on my calendar.
Oh,
that is. Yeah. I didn't mean to offend you and say that wasn't a big event. So
no, that's fine. That's more than fine. No. Trust me, they're not really huge, gigantic events, but we get a nice sizable crowd of people, and it's always, like I said, we're a free educational event. So we always have great speakers, and we walk.